Viewer discretion is advised. The following content includes graphic imagery and mature themes.
This isn't for the weak. And yes, feelings will get hurt. So brace yourself and welcome to the Hammer Drops. Hey, welcome back. Happy Tuesday to you all. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. Boy, there's a lot of things in the works. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this Friday, our first live show with Conservative Willie and Cliff from Savagely Loud. You've seen me with him. I'm his co-host over there over on the Savagely Loud podcast. It's going to be a kick-ass show, and it's 7 p.m. only on Facebook. So if you want to see that live show, you're going to have to go over to Facebook to the Hammer Drops to be able to watch it live. Okay, I got a nice little show here for you today, but before we get into all of that, you know the drill. So if you want to follow me over there on all my social media, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at the Hammer Drops. Those are the two places I'm heavily active at. While you're there, don't forget to follow, like, share the content, because that all helps to break those algorithms. As we know, I seem to have grown a little too fast for Facebook, so they're starting to shadow ban me a little bit. So any help and support from you will be greatly appreciated. I'm also available on TikTok, as well. Not as active over there anymore, only because I'm sick of the community violations that they like to keep throwing at me for posting the truths that people need to fucking hear. So in my bio over on all my social media, you'll find two links. You'll find a link to the website, which is thehammerdrops.com, which has so much information, including blogs and about situations that are happening, like in Venezuela and all of that. So definitely go check that out. Don't forget to sign up for the email list while you're there. And there's another one. It's a little link tree that's going to pop up that's going to bring you to all the other special places across the internet that I am available on, where you can see this beautiful face and hear my rants. So with that said, let's get into the show. First and foremost today, I want to talk about how the liberals are just, man, these guys, they chase headlines. They've chased the Nicole Good headline, just like clockwork. All right, let's just be fucking honest. They chased it like clockwork. And now you have all the protests starting to happen. You have Minneapolis kind of in a standstill. The police aren't doing anything. The city's just going to shit, kind of like it did back when George Floyd happened. And if we all remember back then when all that shit happened with George Floyd, what happened next? The big bad voodoo, I'm just going to call it voodoo, ended up happening, which locked down the whole country. So my question is, number one, is what do they have in store next? Because we're seeing the same fucking playbook happening. And it blows my mind with you fucking liberals. How do you not see it? How are you still buying into this? And you want to sit there on your fucking perch and call the conservatives nothing but cultists, when in fact, the real cultists are you, because you literally will take whatever the news cycle tells you, whatever your fucking politicians tell you, and you'll take that and run with it. And that's what you're going to fucking run on, right? See, my question for you liberals is, fine, you want to be on the hook for this Renee thing. Okay. You think it was bad that, she got shot. I mean, I'm not condoning anybody losing their life over stupid shit, and this was stupid shit to lose your life over, but really, who's at fault for it? Was it the officer at fault? Was it her? I don't know. I don't care. From the videos that I saw, when you obey a lawful order, number one, you have your so-called fucking wife that's telling you to go, baby, go, and you slam on the gas and you hit a cop. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to just be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay that you hit me. I'm not going to do anything about it. No, they're going to fire, because you're coming at a police officer, a federal agent, with a vehicle that's over 4,000 pounds. Now, should the cop have shot? No, because what the cop didn't realize is if that lady actually did die, which she did, that now you have a 4,000 pound moving vehicle with nobody able to steer into oncoming traffic and people, which it could have been a lot worse, and thankfully it wasn't. But here we are. My question for you liberals is, you guys are up there. You want ICE out so bad. You want to keep these Somalians here so bad, even though they've been busted for defrauding our government, taking the taxpayer money and sending it back over to Somalia. You have Tim Walz, who all of a sudden just miraculously just dropped out of the governor's race. Let's just be honest here real quick. Let's call it for what it is. Walz didn't have a choice but to drop out. It was either dropping out or he'd be in jail. That's 100%. Only politicians that have held their ground and dug their heels in the sand have been to jail. Look at Rod Blagojevich from Chicago, from Illinois. He refused. And what happened to him? He ended up in federal prison for quite some time because he refused. He refused to obey a direct order from the higher ups and gracefully bow out, kind of like Tim Walz is doing. And everybody, conservative side and everything, they want accountability to Tim Walz. They want accountability to the Democrats like Ilhan Omar and all that. Folks, you're not going to get it. Nothing's going to happen to these fuckers. This guy's going to get out of the governor's office. And the reason why that's happening is so this way he cannot be subpoenaed to the House. Once you are not a public official, you cannot be subpoenaed to the House to answer for your crimes in those aspects. What happened to this money? How did you end up giving away billions of dollars to Somalians and not even bother checking in on any of these daycares? How? So now he's not going to be held accountable for any of that. So for all you wondering and hoping that there's going to be some accountability, there will not be one single accountability happening to any of these people. Ilhan Omar, yeah, we would love to think that something's going to happen to her for her take, because we already know that money was being come back into her campaign efforts and all that. They were getting kickbacks, allegedly. I don't want to say it like that because, you know how they are. They're going to come back at you and be like, oh, we're going to sue you for saying this. So allegedly getting kickbacks, which, I mean, it's well documented. But again, liberals, you want to get on this whole thing about Renee Gooden. You have all these protests, miraculously, you have all these signs for it, like so quickly, which I got to give you liberals a little bit of credit because you guys are on top of that. When it comes to, the conservative end, they don't protest. And why should they? Most of them have jobs, whereas most of you liberals depend on the government. I mean, let's just be fucking honest. And these conservatives, they don't have that need. I mean, we saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. They had vigils for Charlie Kirk, while you guys decide that it's best to burn down a city. It's best to break windows, loot. I mean, let's just be honest. That's all you guys are doing. All you guys are doing is committing more and more crimes, and police aren't doing shit up in Minneapolis. So I think, Tim Walz over there said that he's going to have the National Guard on call and has not yet called them in, even though it's so bad up there. I think it's time for Trump to do his fucking job and send in the National Guard and clean that shit up and put that motherfucker on lockdown to stop this shit. But will that happen? I don't know. I think it's all part of the movie, folks. I think we know from 2019 what happened when George Floyd, all that shit happened with him. We saw what happened next, and there's something on the horizon that's going to be coming next. So my question is how many of you guys are going to actually fall for it? I know most of you liberals will. How many of the conservatives are? How many of you guys are going to fall for it? Because I'm over here. I'm a guy that's in the middle. I'm far middle. I don't claim conservative. I don't claim liberal. I am far middle because I can see everything for what it is. So what are you going to do when the next big thing comes? Because it's coming, and it's going to happen soon. But what are you going to do? Now, liberals, I want to ask you guys a very, very special and very important goddamn fucking question. You guys want to go out there and denounce ICE for getting rid of these Somalians. You want to go denounce them for getting rid of criminals. Where were you when these illegals were raping and killing white women? Where were you when the Ukrainian refugee that was in North Carolina got brutally murdered by a black dude on a train filled with other black people, and not one of them, not fucking one of them, stepped in to do a goddamn thing? Where were you? Where were the protests? Where was that angst? Where was that anger that you guys have right now for a criminal? I'm going to paint a picture for you fuckers, okay? See, what happened in Minneapolis is that ICE was going after a guy who was already has been looked for sexual predatory acts done to children, making a child give him oral sex. And this is the garbage that you guys want to protect, but you don't want to protect the innocent children, women that have been brutally murdered and raped by these fucking illegals, by Venezuelans, by Somalians, by Muslims. You don't want to protect them, but you're going to protect the people that are committing those heinous acts to those women. Makes no fucking sense to me. This is why you liberals are such fucking hypocrites. You guys are a fucking joke. You know, because heaven forbid you can actually do something that doesn't need to pertain to violence or destruction or burning shit down, or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You rather protect a non-U.S. citizen than a U.S. citizen, and that should say all it needs to say in a nutshell right there. You know, plain and fucking simple. Now, this is going to continue. It's going to continue. It's going to move to city to city to city. You have you have Democrat leadership that's already denouncing it and trying to rile up their citizens to protest and all of that. And over here on the other side, you got the right that's not doing a fucking thing to combat it. So when is the conservatives going to actually step up and do something? And I guess actually that could be another question to conservatives out there. Where are you guys when all this shit was happening, when all these innocent people were being murdered and killed? You guys were nowhere to be found either. But when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, you guys go out with vigils, but nothing for anybody else. That should say a lot. Now think about that. You go out for somebody because they're popular, because their name is out there, and yet somebody else's daughter was brutally murdered and raped, and nothing from either side. And the only time that you actually hear about that kind of stuff is when people like myself actually bring it to the forefront and bring it out to you guys. So it's only the people in the middle that are saying something while everybody else is keeping fucking quiet because they don't want to touch that button. But you fucking liberals, let me tell you, man, you guys definitely follow the headline. You definitely follow whatever mainstream media is saying and whatever your fucking, your cult, whatever cult you guys are in, whatever politician you support, that's who you follow, and that's why you guys do what you do. Let's just be honest. Now, also over the weekend, the last week, we had the Venezuelan thing, and now some new reports coming out of that Venezuelan thing from a bodyguard saying that it was 20 soldiers. They use sonic weapons. So it's funny because the U.S. government is allowing that to come out, that they're actually using those kind of weaponry. That makes me believe that they've got something even bigger. So that's why they're letting this out. And they were able to go in there with 20 guys. This bodyguard said they killed 20 people, killed hundreds of Venezuelan guard, and not one casualty on the American side. I'm not sure how true that is. That's one side. But the ironic thing about that is that the press secretary did post that up on her Twitter account. So there's got to be some sort of truth there, unless it's a psyop to get other countries to think we have that. But I don't think that's true because I've done a lot of research in DEWs, which is directed energy weapons, and we do have the capability of that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're finally allowing that to come out to the public so everybody knows that we have those weapons because they have a bigger, badder thing in the works or already done. So, but then you also have countries, because now they're all pissed off about, Trump wanting Greenland. See, it's all strategic, folks. And I have an article up on the webpage in the blog section about this whole Venezuelan thing. And I'm going to break it down here for you. See, if Venezuela was on the brink of joining the BRICS nations, and if they ended up joining the BRICS nations, having the largest supply of oil in the world, and they're selling it to Russia, they're selling it to China, what would happen then is that the oil would be sold in currency that the BRICS nations have, which would essentially kill the petrodollar, which is the dollar bills that are in your pocket right now. A dollar in the BRICS nations is worth 4 fucking cents. Imagine overnight if this didn't happen and they joined the BRICS nations, overnight the dollar would be wiped out. Your savings would be wiped out. Your 401ks would be garbage, would be nothing. You would be broke in a matter of seconds if this happened. And it's all strategic. That's why they want Greenland. I mean, let's not talk about the fact that China and Russia are already doing maneuvers up in that area. Hence why America wants Greenland so bad. So this way, it's all strategic, folks. But you have jokers over in the Scandinavian countries that say, fuck the USA. If you guys come into Greenland, well, the Nordic nations will come together and come to Greenland's aid. Guys, don't be stupid. You guys need to sit this one the fuck out. Because let's be honest, I'm Norwegian. I'm Scandinavian. Okay, but I live here in the U.S. Okay, my heritage is there, but I'm an American citizen. And I'm telling you, as much as I love my heritage, that's why I'm telling you to stay the fuck out of this. Because it won't end well for the Nordic nations. It won't. Yeah, okay, Germany's sending 1 ship over, or 2 ships. They only have 7 battleships in Germany. That's it. 7 battleships. Do you honestly think they're going to send all their assets over to Greenland when the shit's going on with Russia right at their back door? No, they're not. That would just be, let's just fucking commit suicide right here. Let's take away all of our assets, our military assets, and move them to Greenland when the people of Greenland already want to succeed from Danish control. You all want to sit there and say it's all about minerals, it's all about this, it's all about that. Yes, that's partially true for both Venezuela and Greenland, but it's also very strategic. We get control of the Western Hemisphere, ain't nobody going to touch us. There's a reason why here in the United States we haven't had foreign boots on our soil. And the main reason for that is because, and the Chinese have said it best, because behind every blade of grass is a gun. And they're absolutely correct. Why do you think there's been such a push lately for more stricter gun control laws and to take away high capacity magazines and all that stuff? Because they don't want you to have the same capacity as military does. That's why. So until you guys decide that you got to open your eyes and see the whole fucking picture, you only see it through one fucking lens. You got to see it through it all. You won't have a complete understanding of what's going on. You really won't. And that's kind of sad, because right now, us as a country, we need to unite. We need to get the biggest threats out of this country. And right now, those biggest threats in this country is the Muslim Brotherhood, the Somalians, and the criminals that have crossed over. We need to get them the fuck out of here. We got to stop allowing foreign countries to buy up farmland like China. We need to take that away from them, because that's what they want. They want the United States because of the farmland. Because, I mean, look at China. China's just a shithole. But I do think it's funny that with what happened in Venezuela has definitely sent a lot of countries like running a little bit scared, because they don't want what happened in Venezuela to happen there. And thinking back and now hearing what happened in Venezuela, and then the flex that Trump did when Putin came to Alaska for their talks, and they flew the bomber over them, the one that went over and dropped those bombs over there in Iran, the stealth bomber, and flew it over them. That was a huge flex on Trump's part, and I got to give him props. But the one thing I do have to say about Trump is Trump needs to escalate these deportations of these people a little bit faster than what's going on. He's not even at the numbers that Obama had. He's not at the numbers that Biden had. He's actually pretty low, and yet here you liberals are out here fucking protesting it, calling them the No Keynes protest, whatever you want to call it. But in reality, he hasn't even hit those numbers. And where were you guys when Biden and Obama were doing it? Again, You guys were at home sucking your thumbs, doing not a goddamn thing about it. But that's your kind of the way you guys go about things, it seems like. And it just blows my fucking mind. You know, that's why you liberals are just, let's just be honest. You liberals are one of the biggest problems in this country. Liberal women, liberal white dudes, y'all just need to go, because what do you think is going to happen if the Muslims took over? You're going to be the first to go. You definitely will be. I mean, one thing I do want to touch on is now the gay community as well is coming out about this Renee Gooden thing, and they're crying. You have I guess it's because nobody's been talking about the gay community very much anymore. So they're crying now. They're crying and they're saying that Renee was murdered because she was queer. Let's make one thing perfectly and utterly clear, folks. She was not murdered because she was queer or lesbian, had a wife, had some kids that didn't really live with her, but we will, I'm going to leave that one alone because it's not my business. She was killed because of what happened. It's the fuck around and find outs. And that's why what happened. Now, I'm going to leave it at that right now, folks, because I have a lot of work to get done before the Friday Night Live show. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe over there on YouTube, but follow us over on Facebook so you can watch that show. It's The Hammer Drops. Don't forget to share the content as well. Invite your friends. If you think somebody's going to get mad or upset by something I have posted, make sure you send it to them, because people's eyes need to open up a little bit more each day. We'll see you guys Friday night. Don't forget to follow me over on Instagram and Facebook. The Hammer Drops. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you guys Friday.